This inadequate nutrition, including processed foods, negatively impact the cognitive development of students. Let's be clear, we really don't even need to get through this video to answer the question. Nutrition directly affects every bodily function. So that is to include brain and cognitive function. So let's get into the relationship between nutrition and brain and cognitive development. So really quick, let's talk about cognitive development. According to the American Psychological Association, cognitive development is the growth and maturation of thinking processes of all kinds, including perceiving, remembering, concept formation, problem solving, imagining, and reasoning. There's a bunch of theories that talk about cognitive development, but the most popular one is of Jean Piaget. As we know, the human brain requires nutrients in order for it to maintain functionality. Lack of and deficiencies in both micro and macronutrients can lead to some delays in the cognitive functioning and cognitive development of children. Not only that, but the nutrition that we eat directly affects our memory, our sleeping patterns, and it can affect our behavior. So in school-age children's memory is super important in retaining the information that they need in order to advance in their academics. Behavior also plays a pivotal role in school-age children. If any one of those three things is lacking, a child is more susceptible to performing more poorly in a school setting. Now let's talk about processed food and how that directly affects your brain functioning and cognitive functioning. According to Harvard Health Publishing, serotonin is a neurotransmitter that helps regulate sleep and appetite, mediate moods, and inhibit pain. They say that 75% of serotonin is produced in your gastrointestinal tract, which is the place where we digest our food. The processed foods in which we're speaking about today are generally low in essential nutrients and high in unhealthy things like added sugars, sodiums, and fats. Not only can these things contribute to physiological diseases and conditions, they can also negatively impact sleep, mood, and behavior, which are all things that are going to affect a child in a school setting. Now that we have an idea about cognitive development and processed foods, let's go ahead and highlight some studies that talk about the importance of proper nutrition and cognitive development. In the study of the association between sugar-sweetened beverages and high-energy diets and academic performance in junior school students, they found that students that often drank sugar-sweetened beverages had poorer test results than students who had a moderate to higher consumption of high-energy diets. They also found that many junior school students often drank and consume sugar-sweetened beverages. So this highlights how it can have a negative impact on the academic performance of students, but also how appealing it can be to school-age students. As you'll see, chart A is the SSBs and chart B is the high-energy diets. You can see that students often consume SSBs more than they consume high-energy diets. The test results reflect things such as lower scores in reading, writing, grammar, punctuation, and numeracy. Next, we have the effects of food supplementation on cognitive function, cerebral blood flow, and nutritional status in young children at risk of undernutrition. This study showed that controlled nutritional supplementation can improve the cognitive functioning of children. It showed that children that were given specific foods that included specific nutritional supplementation performed slightly better than children that did not have a controlled specific nutritional supplementation meal. It included children from 15 months to 7 years old, and the results showed in very young children under the age of 4. So this really goes to show how supplementation and proper nutrition can really help develop the cognitive functioning of children that are under the age of school age. It shows how nutrition can build an essential building block for children as they enter into school. The supplemental meals helped improve their working memory, which is a huge part of academics. Working memory is a fundamental component of academic achievement, and this study shows how adequate nutrition in very young children can positively impact the beginning of their learning experiences. With all that being said, understanding cognitive development and functioning, understanding how nutrition plays a role in this and the functioning of the brain, understanding what processed foods are and how they affect the many different aspects, memory, sleep, and behavior, we can come to the conclusion that inadequate nutrition has a direct effect on the academic achievement and cognitive functioning of school-age students.